Diabetes is a condition that has effects on your metabolism. There are many foods that help control the disease, and what is the best food for diabetes? What are the dietary guidelines for diabetics? To help you out, we have compiled a list of some of the top food options for controlling diabetes. We will also provide you with other tips on how to control the disease as well. Stay along to know about some of the best food for diabetes control. The quantity, amount, and intensity of the fat in your diet have a direct effect on the level of your blood sugar. To keep blood sugar under control, you should avoid saturated fatty acids and eat more monounsaturated fatty acids or monounsaturated fats. You can get them by eating olive oil, olives, almonds, peanuts, and are also found in oily fish such as salmon and mackerel. Left untreated, diabetes can lead to serious illness, both in the short term and long term. Chances of complications of diabetes include heart disease, stroke, kidney failure, and blindness, to name a few. You should take action right now if you suspect that you may be suffering from diabetes. By following the dietary guidelines for diabetics, you can control your blood sugar levels and manage your diabetes successfully. As a diabetic, your body is unable to process carbohydrates in the normal way, so an alternative fuel source needs to be found. This is where proteins come in. Aside from making up muscles and other body parts, proteins are also sources of energy for diabetics. You can consume more proteins by eating more nuts, beans, eggs, fish, and lean meat products. Starchy foods such as potatoes, white bread, and pasta are foods that have a high glycemic index, which can cause blood glucose levels to rise quickly. The less starchy your diet, the better. As a diabetic, there is always an awareness of what you eat and when. You should keep an eye on your blood sugar levels, especially when you eat meals that are high in carbohydrates and sticky foods. Take note of what happens after your meal and take note of how many carbs are in the meal. This will help ensure that you don't get too many carbs in during one go. These tips on how to control diabetes from diet is just one part of the puzzle. Check out the next part of this video to learn more. A good way to ensure that you don't get too many carbs in a single meal is to eat smaller portions. Make sure that your meals are not heavy and do not include excessive amounts of starchy foods such as potatoes, white bread, and pasta. By following these tips on how to control diabetes, you will be able to have a stable blood sugar level and enjoy a better life with full energy all the time. What kind of diabetes exists? Diabetes comes in two varieties, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 diabetes is called juvenile onset as it occurs most commonly in children under the age of 15. In this form of the condition, the pancreas does not produce any insulin. The body is still able to use other hormones that help control blood glucose, but these are not enough. That is why type 1 diabetics have to take insulin in order to survive. For those with type 2 diabetes, their bodies still produce some insulin, but there may be resistance to it, so they cannot utilize it properly. They need to use a combination of medications and lifestyle changes in order to keep their blood glucose levels under control, or even regulate them if they are within normal ranges already. When you are dealing with diabetes, it is essential for you to get the right treatment as soon as possible. Do not skip any medication or appointment with your doctor, even if it means taking a shorter amount of time off from work. You do not want to put unnecessary pressure on your body that may cause other symptoms such as fatigue, headaches, and nausea. See also, the type that affects the most number of people is type 2 diabetes, since it occurs in more than 90% of the population. In this case, the insulin-producing beta cells are gradually destroyed, which causes a lower level of insulin in the blood and eventually leads to serious health problems like heart disease and kidney failure. To make matters worse, while they keep a lid on their blood sugar levels through insulin or other medications, they can give rise to different complications like neuropathy, which is a numbness in the extremities that leaves the patient with an inability to feel pain. For type 1 diabetics, there is not much that can be done aside from monitor their glucose levels so it does not go out of control. The problem with this condition is that it takes a toll on the body, since keeping it within normal range requires immense discipline. For those with type 2 diabetes, they can change their diet and engage in exercise to help them control blood sugar levels. There are also medications that can regulate how well their body processes glucose, which is why it is crucial for them to follow their doctor's orders. Who experiences diabetes? In the United States alone, more than 23 million people suffer from diabetes every year. Statistics show that about 90% of these cases can be attributed to type 2 diabetes. It has been said that this form of the condition is most prevalent in the developing countries where there are food shortages. This is why whenever there's a major famine in many parts of the world, it attracts more attention and gets more funds to aid the impoverished areas. In other words, people with diabetes are usually found in those places where they cannot get enough food to sustain their bodies due to famine or other factors such as war and environmental blight. According to the CDC, type 2 diabetics have an average lifespan of only about 5 years. That is why it is a necessity for them to adhere to their doctor's orders and take medication if their blood glucose levels are out of control. This can be a difficult task, since there are different types of medications that have varying effects on the body, so not everyone may benefit from the prescribed regimen. Regardless, you should always check with your doctor before making any changes to your regimen. In addition, there is no cure for type 2 diabetes, so you can do your best to minimize the risk factors that you have for it. You may consider getting regular exercise and eating a proper diet to keep yourself in good shape. The next tip on this list will show you what you need to do to prevent diabetes. How can I prevent diabetes? Just like most other medical problems, you cannot completely prevent diabetes, but there are ways on how you can lower the chances of developing it. The American Diabetes Association says that losing weight is one way of preventing the onset of type 2 diabetes. They advise people with a body mass index (BMI) over 30 to shed at least 5% of their spare weight as recommended by their doctor. This will help them decrease their chances of developing type 2 diabetes. Another thing you can do is to keep your regular checkups with your doctor and make sure that he or she is aware of what you are eating and your exercise routine, so they can give you instructions accordingly. By following his or her orders, diabetes can be prevented, since you will be at peace about what you should and should not eat. You will also be able to monitor how well your blood sugar levels are doing, so there won't be any complications from the disease. See also. That being said, it can be difficult to live with diabetes, so do your best to control it. If you have to have it for the rest of your life, make sure that you are doing everything in your power so you can live a good and healthy life. At the same time, there is still a chance for you to get rid of diabetes if you take some medications and follow a drug-free and exercise regimen. You should also keep in mind that there are other lifestyle changes that can help reduce the risks of developing this condition. Life with diabetes will not be easy, but if you take care of yourself, there is hope that one day you can live a normal life again. We hope you loved all those tips for having a healthier life. Thanks for watching this video, and if you want more videos on how to boost your metabolism, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.